Oh, now I'll start. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to treat this like a presentation to our youth, to teens, whether or not they're here, because this is going to be shared with them. And I'm excited for that. And I'm going to ask that you engage in any way that is possible for you, because this is very interactive. That is my philosophy. So I want to set the ground rules for a minute, or not ground rules, ground boundaries. Can anyone tell me in the comments or by unmuting how they define boundaries? Don't all jump. Safeguards. I love that, Rachel. Safeguards. Give me one more. How do you define boundaries? A set of communication guidelines. Beautiful. Now, oh, you're blowing up the chat. All right, I'm with it. I just opened it. Now I see the whole world. We have something that is done for us. Why are boundaries important? One word in the chat. Just why are they important to you? For me, for example, they're important to me because it means love for myself, comfortability, safety, wellness, safe. Everyone is saying to feel safe. So when you don't have boundaries, you don't feel safe. So we're going to set some boundaries here today. This is your show. I am just a guest making an appearance. What are the key things that you want our boundaries to be today? Let me give you an example. Are we going to respect each other? Are we going to engage? How do you want this space to be today? You can put one word in the chat, or you can put a sentence in the chat. What will make you feel good in this space? Be open-minded. Ryan, I love that so much. When we talk about being open-minded, that can mean a lot of different things. So in this context, we're going to respect what people have to say. We're going to listen with love and intention, right? How annoying is it when you're talking, right, and somebody's on their phone texting or not paying attention to you? You feel like you don't matter. So we're going to be open-minded in all those things. We have good listening, thoughtful, be engaged. You are so engaged. I love it. So that is like the root of our tree today. We're going to keep all of those things in mind so that we have a safe space on Zoom today, and we respect each other's boundaries. Thank you for that. I'm going to share my screen. Can I do it? Yes, I could do it. And let me do present. Okay. And I don't think I could see the chat. Let me set up the chat so that I could see it when we go. Okay. Did we get it? Of course it's not working. Hold on. Okay. So I want you to take out a piece of paper or use your phone. And this is for you. It's private. And I'm gonna set a timer. And I'm gonna give you 20 seconds to do something. But here's the thing. You cannot stop writing the entire time. There can be no pauses. You have to write for the complete 20 seconds. Give me a virtual thumbs up if you are down for this challenge. With your fingers, with your emojis, however we do it now, I don't know. There's so many ways. Okay, so for the next 20 seconds, you are going to write down all of the positive things you think and believe about yourself. And go. Keep going. You have like 13 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands down, please. Eyes up. Thank you. Okay. Now I want you to write down all of the negative things that came into your mind today. It could have been like, ew, that lipstick is ugly. Ugh, I shouldn't have that. Ugh, why doesn't that person like me? Anything. This is for you. This is private. And if you can't think of anything that happened today, just in the last few days, I can list like 20 things right now that came into my mind that I said negatively to myself since I got out of bed this morning. The same thing, don't put the pen down and go. Let me see all your faces. I don't know how to do that. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Which list was easier for you? You can write it in the chat. You can unmute. I like conversation too. I don't know if I can see this chat. Where is it? There it is. Which list was easier for you? The positive. Yes. Nice thing. Yes. That is beautiful. Okay. So why do you think the positive list was easier for you? Are you naturally a positive person? Is it because you got into a place in your life where you practice more self-love? Why do you think the positive list was easier for you? Somebody unmute and tell me.
I think we do a lot of this type of work with people, and it's always it's front of mind for a lot of us, I'd say. For me anyway. So I think like, okay, I've got my affirmations kind of lined up that I tell myself, whether I believe it or not, I try to convince myself of every morning.
Yeah, and I love that. And that also comes with age, right? I think age and wisdom and emotional maturity. We know that positive self-talk is important. But my question to you is, and if I want to call on people, and if you do not want to be called on, just put your name in the chat and I won't call on you. I want to ask you this. When you were a teenager, when you were 14, 15, 12, whatever years old, was it easy to access positive thoughts?
No.
Kira, tell me more about that.
Yeah, no, I think that at that age it was definitely difficult because it was just the constant stream of that negative self-talk. And I didn't really understand the importance of kind of combating that for myself. So that's something like I actively make a choice to do now is we do this thing called 2 put-ups. So if you put yourself down, you have to say 2 good things about yourself. You have to do 2 put-ups. And so I do that for myself in my head, but that's not something that I ever tried to do when I was young. And so it was just that constant stream of negative self-talk.
Right. And Exua, if I said the name wrong, I apologize, said no. Ella said not really. Ryan said no, right? This is learned behavior. So when you're walking around the world and you have these negative self-thoughts and you're feeling really bad about yourself, I don't want you to think that you're alone. I don't want you to think you're the only one, but we have to build the muscle every day to reframe it. Now, how many thoughts do you think we have in a day? Type it in the chat. Oh, that's a good number, Ella. Keep going. 1 million, 1 billion. Okay. We have 70,000. Now, if you Google it, some places will say 80,000. Let's say for the context of today, it's 70,000, right? So that means that we walk around every day with 70,000 thoughts going through our head, whether it's conscious or subconscious, right? It happens all of the time. My next question is, what percentage of these 70,000 thoughts, a percent, do you think are negative? Give me a percent in the chat. 70s. Oh, got some good numbers here. 60, 75, 70. All right. 80% of our thoughts are negative. That's where our mind goes right away. So it's like you can't win if you don't learn how to reprogram your thoughts. It's like you go straight to the negative. We have stimulus all around us. We have social media, we have our parents, we have our partners, we have our friends, and we can judge ourselves for every moment of the day, especially when things are not working out the way we want them to. So when you let the 80% of your negative thoughts run your life, which they naturally do, unless you learn how not to change them, it steals something that's huge. It steals your gratitude. So who can tell me what gratitude is? Unmute. Feel free to unmute. Feel free to type it, whichever you want. Tegan, can I ask you, how would you define gratitude? Oh, Tegan, how crazy, Tegan?
Oh, sorry,
That
I was
is
typing.
crazy. Don't you think that's crazy what just happened?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, I got you, Tegan. Tegan says gratitude is being grateful. Right. So gratitude is focusing on what's going well in your life and being grateful for that. Rachel also said it's being appreciative. So gratitude doesn't mean that you walk around every day and say, life is easy, life is great. None of that false positivity. No, you're supposed to honor the pain and the frustrations that you feel, but gratitude is the practice of finding what to be thankful for in the midst of that. I'm going to give you an example. So my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and it broke my heart. It broke my family's heart, right? Who wants their parent to be ill? There was a lot of negative thoughts that would come into my mind. One negative thought was how I was as a daughter, how I didn't show up enough. Another negative thought was like, oh, there's not a cure. This is like his life is a waste now. Like my mind got overwhelmed with these negative thoughts. So I lived in those negative thoughts for a while. They beat me up and they changed how I responded to my father and the world around me. I walked around a little angrier because I was angry that my dad had Parkinson's, and anger is fine. You can feel that, but when it drives your life, it's not healthy. So then I had to understand and find what to be grateful for, what to be thankful for. Okay, my dad has Parkinson's. There's no cure for it, but he has a loving family. I've spent 42 years with him. He still has years to go. He has great doctors, right? There is so much to be thankful and grateful for in the midst of not getting what I want. What I want is for my dad not to have Parkinson's. We are not going to always get what we want. And I want you to know that. You're not always going to win the medal. You're not always going to get the date. You're not always going to be the prettiest. You're not always going to be the smartest. You're not always going to be the richest. That has nothing to do with your value and your self-worth, nada. But we place our value on that because of what we see in social media, because of expectations that people place on us. And then our negative thoughts at 80% gets louder and louder and louder. And all of a sudden we hate ourselves. But if you learn how to find what to be thankful for instead of what is not working, you will live a happier life. So I want you to take a moment right now. You could write it on the pen, you could keep it in your mind, whatever it is. I want you to think about something in your life that's not working out the way you want. And when you have it in your mind, write done in the chat. Okay. Now I want you to think about some of the negative thoughts that come to your mind when you think about the situation not being what you want it to be. It could be anything. It could be it'll never work, right? It'll never work for me. I had a situation yesterday where I was crying. I was like, this will never work for me. It could be anything. When you have that in the comments, drop an emoji. When you have the thoughts that pop into your head, drop an emoji in the comments. It could be just one thought. I like the squid. Great. Now I want you to make a list, whatever way you want, in your head, on the paper. Poop. Thanks, Ryan. I want you to write it down or visualize it. I want you to think about what you have to be grateful for in spite of that thing, what you have to be grateful for, what you can look forward to, what you have of value in your life, even though that situation has not worked out the way you wanted. And after you do that, drop a heart in the comments, or no, just drop anything in the comments. I lost things to drop in the comments. Thank you. Okay. Wow. You guys are great. Okay. Right, that's a little shift. We just took what was it, 30 seconds, right? In our normal life, unless you learn how to do this, you don't walk through your life thinking, oh my goodness, that situation is not working out the way I want it. Okay, let me think about how it's making me feel. Okay, let me find what I'm grateful for, right? If you don't know how to change your thought process, you're not walking around life doing that, then your negative thoughts get louder. But that's the work. That's the work to live a happy life. You are responsible for your life. You're responsible for living a happy life. And a happy is not that the situation works out the way you want. It's how you show up in spite of the situation. And gratitude has to do with that. I would be so happy if my dad didn't have Parkinson's, but I can show up in gratitude so I can enjoy life even how it is right now. So as you face challenges, because you're going to face them, I'm not warm and fuzzy, I'm not all these things. You're going to do great things in your life, but I don't want to put the false idea that it won't come with challenges. You're going to have challenges with your friendships. That's a part of life. It doesn't determine your self-worth. You're going to have challenges with your relationships. You're going to date, you're going to make up, you're going to break up. You're going to learn all these things about yourself. You're going to have challenges with your jobs, with your classes, with your performance, with your family. Self-image. The list is endless. And guess what? You're supposed to have these challenges. I think you think sometimes that you're not, but you are supposed to have them because they build something with the C when you learn how to move through them. What is that word that I'm talking about? Somebody drop it in the chat for me. Who knows the C word that going through challenges brings? Anybody? Guess? Her conflict, Rachel. Character. We can do conflict. Corey got it. Yeah, it builds your character. Imagine if you were walking through life and everything was perfect. You got everything you wanted. Yeah, sure, you would think you would be happy, but how do you build resilience? How do you learn who you really are in the face of adversity? That is what builds you, and that is what prepares you to face anything in life. So as you face those things, like things not working out, it's easy to go to the mindset of what you don't have, what's not working, what's not going well, what you don't like about yourself, versus immediately going to what you do have. What is working? What's going well? What you do like about yourself, right? The 80% is the yellow. That's the natural that's going to come up. But with gratitude, you're able to switch if you implement a gratitude practice in your life. And it doesn't have to be anything astronomical. You're able to switch from the orange to the white more frequently and more often. So all of this affects your well-being, right? All of it. Right? The negative and the positive. The negative self-talk affects your well-being, and the positive self-talk affects your well-being. Well-being is the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy, right? So this also affects your self-image. This is how you see yourself, your self-esteem, I'm sorry. This is the confidence you have in yourself and your ability to respect yourself. So when you're focusing on the negative thoughts, right, and the negative self-talk, your well-being and self-image dwindles. Think of you as this big, bright light. The more power you give the negative self-talk, sure, it doesn't shrink all the way in a day. It doesn't shrink all the day in a month or a year, but over the years and over the times, if you don't know how to handle it, you're not going to be comfortable in your skin. You're not going to be able to walk into a room and not care what anybody else looks like or how anybody else talks. You're going to walk into the room hiding yourself because you're going to think you're not good enough. If you let the negative thoughts lead, you're not going to live a happy life. How could you live happy if you're scared and uncomfortable all the time? And when you live in the negative self-talk, you don't feel worthy. And some people, let's be real, when you don't feel worthy, you can start to act out in self-destructive behaviors. It can start with our thoughts. Our thoughts have so much power over us, but they don't have to. Now, when you start to implement more of the positive self-talk and gratitude in your life, guess what happens? You're comfortable in your skin. You could walk into any room, right? You could trip and fall and laugh it off, And it doesn't have to mean that you're the worst person in the world. You're happier, you're healthier, you feel confident, and you start to respect yourself. Because you know why? You start to set those things that we talked about in the beginning. It starts with a B. Can anybody tell me what it is? What is it? We talked about it in the beginning. Right. How are you going to set boundaries and have people respect you and have a safe space if you don't even think you're worthy? You see, this negative self-talk is not just about language. It's about your life. And gratitude helps you overcome that. But I want to tell you something. You're not supposed to walk around all day feeling comfortable, happy, healthy, worthy, right? Like that is a false belief. And that is not the expectation I want to put on you today. You are going to have moments, and a lot of moments in life, of feeling uncomfortable, unhappy, not worthy, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about how you get from this feeling to that feeling in 30 seconds, a week, a day. How do you do that? Well, we talked about it in the beginning. That's the gratitude practice. So the honest news is that everything in your life is not going to be okay. But the honest news is also that you have gifts inside of you. The honest news is that you are powerful. The honest news is that you are worthy. But when you focus on the negative self-talk, the honest news is you're not going to be able to show the world those things no matter what you achieve, because you're not being yourself. You're not truly happy. But here's the good news. No matter if everything in your life works out the way you want it, because it's just not going to, you can still live a happy life. You can still live a life where you're proud of yourself. You could have to work that job that you didn't want to take, but inside you're happy. And you do that, one small way you do that, there's many ways that I want to share with you today that we talked about, is gratitude. So let's practice in the moment gratitude, right? In the moment gratitude, we did it in the beginning, so I'm just going to explain it to you again. In the moment gratitude is every time a negative thought comes into your head, you find gratitude. So let me give you a really simple example. You stand in front of the mirror and you say, oh my gosh, I look so fat in those shorts. Switch it to gratitude. You know what? I'm grateful that I could afford to buy shorts. Or in the moment gratitude, somebody next to you gets like a good compliment from the teacher and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. The teacher never compliments me. Wait, no, I am grateful that I am a good student. I'm grateful that I get to be in school, right? So those are the in the moment practices that you can do. And they're going to feel uncomfortable and they're going to feel fake and they're going to feel weird, but most self-growth feels weird. So just go with it because it'll help you. And then there's long-term gratitude practices that I want to talk about today. So the first one is the shift method, what we just talked about, right? Shifting it in the moment. That's all it is. And you don't need to set a reminder. It doesn't need to feel like homework. It's just saying to yourself, wait, let me think about what I'm grateful for instead of this negative self-talk, right? It's being aware. Right? Everybody, the buzzword, everybody talks about mindfulness. Mindfulness is understanding what thought is controlling you or trying to control you at the moment. The shift method helps you get into the moment and shift your perspective. And are you going to do it perfectly? No. Is that the expectation? No. Right? The expectation is just you try. That is all it is. The next method is the brain dump method. And I do this. Every morning, I send a gratitude list to my mom, and it was first my mom and I, but then my sisters had to infiltrate as they usually do. So now both my sisters are in it, so I have to share my mom with them, but it's fine. But every morning I get up and I just write what I'm grateful for. And sometimes it is 20 things, sometimes it's 5 things, sometimes it repeats itself, sometimes it doesn't, but it is my morning practice to wake up and to set my mindset on what I'm grateful for before I approach the day. And if you ask me why it works, it just does. I don't really know. It just makes me feel better. It builds the muscle of when the negative thoughts come in, I know how to take them out because I set the day with the brain dump. So you can try the brain dump method. Another method is the journaling method for my writers. This is not my method. I cannot stand writing long pages of anything, but some people really like journal out what they're grateful for, you know, writing paragraphs and pages. If that's your way, do it. If you love writing, listen, if you're an artist, get a canvas, get like a book and draw out what you're grateful for in the morning. Right? If you love video, record a video of yourself. It doesn't matter. There is no wrong or right way. It's just about practicing. And then the other way is the safety net method. So this is keeping a gratitude list with you. So what we carry with us is our phone all of the time. So you could do something like record a video and tell yourself, I am so grateful that I am on the track team. I am so grateful that I'm a kind person. I'm so grateful that I have a family that loves me. I am so grateful that, I don't know, you just list it, right? You can write it out, or if you want to get spicy, you can create an audio, or you can create a video that lives in your phone. And every time you're not feeling good about yourself, you pull it out. None of these methods are better than the other. It's about what works for you. And then the last one is create your own method. Listen, I am one person with one brain. You are so young and so creative. You can come up with a million ways to create a gratitude practice. So in the chat, let me know if you do a gratitude practice currently. Put yes or no, please. No, yes, okay. Okay. Now in the chat, no, okay. Now in the chat, let me know of these methods, or even the create your own method, what do you currently do, or what are you willing to explore? Willing. Drop it in the chat, sorry, I forgot to say that. Brain dump, shift method. I journal, sorry, so thank you, yes, journal. Oh, Corey's a journaler. I love me some journalers. I aspire, like, I'm like, those are some special people that can sit there and write. Okay, beautiful. So I want you to know that when you're doing this, right, when you're listening to me, when you are embarking on just bringing gratitude into your life to minimize those negative self-talk, you're going to feel resistant. You're going to feel like, I don't have time. This isn't working. This is stupid. And a bunch of other things. Resistance comes, right? But you need to identify if that resistance is coming because you're not willing to do the work, or you don't think the work is valuable. You need to give something a chance before you know the value of it. You're not going to see the value of using a gratitude practice if you do it once a month, right? You won't see the value. So my challenge to you is that you give yourself a chance to see the value of it instead of letting the resistance tell you you don't have time for it. Listen, our minds are a battlefield. And it's not a bad thing. They empower us with so many gifts. It empowers us with so many gifts of the world. But if you don't learn how to care for it, how to nurture your mind, it will work against you instead of working for you. And you have a choice. So the last thing I want to say is that this takes practice, right? You might find one gratitude practice that you try and you don't like it, or you might try to shift a negative thought to a gratitude and it might not work. Okay, it's like the gym. I'm not going to go to the gym and get buff by one day. I'm not going to go to the gym and have a perfect workout, right? Nothing is perfect. Like, let go of perfection. That is not the point here. The point here is to give yourself a chance to love yourself and to see your value. So in the comments, I would love to know if you have any questions, ideas, aha moments, anything that came to your mind from what I shared with you today.
I think my aha moment is that I just need to be intentional. It's not going to happen overnight, like you said. We're not going to be buff gratitude warriors after like making one list of 3 things.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had a horrible day yesterday, and was I able to shift to gratitude? No, but today I am. Sometimes you need to wake up with fresh perspective, right? And yeah, the 80% is wild, Ryan. I agree with you. Like it's crazy how much our negative thoughts want to like run the show of our lives. Kira said, I was surprised that I struggle more coming up with the negative thing than the positive. And it showed me that with practice comes progress. Yes, I love that. Yes, I remember a time when I only focused on the negative. But I think with age 2, we have so much to be grateful for because we value life in a different way. I value life so much more as a 42-year-old woman than I did as a 15-year-old girl because I felt like it was never ending. And now we have a limited time here. So why are we going to let the negativity run the show? Okay. So that is all I have. Thank you.